everyone and welcome to a little bit of a special unboxing because there's not really any boxes involved, but we're going to take a little look at the rules section of the Commonwealth expansion for Fallout Wasteland Warfare, because I thought it might be fun just to look at what's available along with something new that Modiphius is trying in the form of Astoundingly Awesome Tales, and just talk about the game in general, about how it handles its rules, because it's not the same as basically every other major miniature game or war game that we cover here on the channel, in the sense that they release their rules in waves, which is actually a pretty interesting way to do it. I'm not sure it's better necessarily, but it is different. And for anyone who is interested in getting into Wasteland Warfare, like based on the Settlement Mode series that we just finished up and we'll be doing a second season down the line, or if it's just caught your eye in general, it might be interesting to see how they handle it. This has been the same for a while now. The New Vegas wave was done like this. I can't remember the name of the wave before that, but it was done like this. And then this is the Commonwealth expansion, which is adding some more features and content and characters from Fallout 4. The Children of Atom, the Railroad, the Gunners, Swan, and some other stuff like that. But first, we'll talk in general about how Modiphius do things, then take an in-depth look at the Commonwealth expansion, and then what astoundingly awesome Tales is. So to get started, if you buy a single character for Wasteland Warfare, you might get them in a standard blister pack like this. These are two promo characters I picked up just as part of the order I put in. This is, for instance, this is an older one that was a little bit of a better deal. This is the Mechanist, who you might know from Fallout 4 or other Fallout games. And you get them in a blister pack. That's the resin. This is, what's his name, Grognak, the Barbarian. Same, again, you get the resin miniature, you assemble them, you paint them, etc. But let me just see if it says on the back of this where you get the rules, because usually it does, but I think they've stopped doing that and just put the website now. Yeah, Grognak. But yeah, so you don't get any rules in there. It's not like a Batman blister pack, for instance, that looks like that, where you open it and back in the old days the card would be in there to use the character as well. If you buy a box set, it's the same. This is not part of this order, but just one I have sitting here, for instance, NCR Patrol for the New Vegas wave. It has 5 miniatures in it, multi-part, nothing else. Or maybe sometimes they'll put in a little mission you can play using them. No rules, though. That's not the way that they do it. What they do is bring out these waves of rules in form of booklets, cutouts, pushboard, etc., etc. And also make it available for free on the website if you want to do your own printing, although it does involve a lot of printing if you do choose to do it yourself. So, for instance, the last book had a picture of the NCR Ranger armor from the New Vegas title screen. It looked like this, came with similar stuff for Caesar's Legion, NCR, this box, and other stuff. And that's how you get the rules, which again is very different to putting the rules in the box, or bringing out a collection rulebook, etc., that kind of thing. And it lets them update things in waves, which is the point. But it does mean if you're only interested in part of a wave, you have to buy or print. I guess if you're printing it off, you can print only what you want. But if you want actual good thick card and the reading materials associated with the wave, you're going to get some stuff that you don't necessarily want unless you're interested in everything. And that's the downside. But we'll move this out the way for now and then get started on the big book. So I took the poly wrap off of this and did nothing else. If we actually pull out the back page, because yeah, there's some protective cardboard, but this is what forms the back of it if you saw it in a gaming store, for instance. It kind of talks you through the expansion, about the Commonwealth where Fallout 4 is set, and then it tells you the very long plethora of both the rules it covers and also what's included. But we're going to look through it, so we don't really need to look in detail. I'm actually surprised it's printed in Poland, because Modiphius is based in the UK. As you can see down there, yeah, they're in Fulham, London. Either way, so that's just the back page. What do we get? We get, in part of each wave, we get a booklet which covers the meat of whatever particular wave it is that Modiphius has released, along with advertisements on the back for their other Fallout related products. But we'll look at that in a minute. What you really want, assuming you don't want to do a buttload of your own printing on decent card, is you want these push out stat cards, AI cards, equipment cards, new items, dangers, strangers, events, etc. for you to add to your existing collection and further adapt the game. I'm not sure why this is on a separate piece. An updated robot rules, an update about how to use Swan, which is kind of like the big massive part of the Commonwealth release, a Swan miniature which looks great. If you don't know who Swan is, play Fallout 4, you'll meet him eventually. And that is a quest, a sting in the tail. So these are just push out, and there's the blurb about how legendary units work, like Frank Horrigan or Deathclaw Matriarchs. I'm not going to stop and read every single card because that's not fair, and as I say, you can just print them for free if you want. But AI cards, creatures, specific rules for the Children of Atom, Railroad, Gunner factions, and then we have new equipment, various Mongrel Bite. Well, actually, some of these are existing. Some of these are unique as well, like power armor for one of the gunners from Quincy. But you get loads and loads and loads of all the cards in the game. What are these? These are some perks. Action Boy Girl, Hacker, Toughness, Dweller, Old Timer. Some quest cards as well. Where's the danger cards? Have I gone past them? Maybe there isn't any, or I went past them. And then after that, the stat cards and whatnot. Let's have a look at Swan, because Swan's cool. I imagine there'll be 3 Swan cards actually, assuming it's like standard legendary creatures. There's also, they're adding Brahmin to the game, which is great. Gonna have to pick up some of them just for flavor, honestly, because they're so synonymous with just exploring Fallout games. But yeah, these are the same quality of cards you used to get, like in the starter set, which I think is still being sold. I'm not sure. They haven't done a new starter set. That I'm sure of. Although they did update it. And then there's some AI cards for the Railroad characters. More Railroad character AI cards. Oh yeah, there's a new wave of robots available for the game. The various Protectron specific variants. The Mr. Handy variants. Grognak up there. And here's the Gunner AI cards. Children of the Atom. I'm quite interested in them. They're interesting. Just radiation damage all over the joint. Alpha Mongrels. Oh yeah, there's a Deathclaw Matriarch as well. And that is that. So that is the meat of why you have to buy one of these collections. They used to be in boxes prior to the New Vegas wave, and it just used to be already pre-cut. Now they aren't. You have to do that yourself. Not so bad. It's actually quite fun. But that also allows them to include these books. So we take a look in here. We're not going to go through page by page, obviously, but you have new rules for scattering terrain, cards, radioactive terrain, turrets and other fixed defences, which might be good to integrate into settlement mode. Region rules for different settings. Miniature gallery, hobby guide for painting, which might be quite interesting. Strategy guides for 7 pages. And then some specific scenarios, probably themed around using the releases from this particular wave. For instance, I'm curious what they're going to be doing with the turrets and fixed defences. I'm looking forward to reading that. But let's go to just one random scenario. There's some of the painting. This is the new releases. There's the new Protectrons, which is fun. But where's the scenarios? There's assembling the miniatures, skip ahead. Strategy guides for factions. There's a level, for instance. Let's just use this as a for instance. So very similar to the scenarios in the base core box, which had a few just setting up. This is Ranchers versus Rustlers. So I guess you would need the Brahmin, but it tells you to curate the decks if you want to, what to include in the Wasteland and event decks that fit the theme. Special rules for the scenario. Story, like a rough story, you know, you can be flexible, which is part of the fun with Wasteland Warfare. The lore is up here. AI specific settings if you're playing solo. Scenario if you want to make it part of a scenario, and what you get if you win, lose, or draw as well. And it goes on like that for a few again. I don't want to. Oh, there was a hidden event thing there. No, I'm not letting me or you read that. Oh, and then there's a mechanical menace. Oh, I could make use of that. That's partially why I wanted this as well. Even if I don't use these scenarios verbatim, I think they're good inspiration to adapt based on the miniatures you have available. So that's another good reason to get it. But again, you can just print it off if you want. So they're also doing something different now, which was the Astoundingly Awesome Tales. Let me move this out the way and we'll talk a little bit about that. So this is something new that Modiphius is doing. You can buy it digitally and it's much cheaper if you choose to buy it digitally. If you buy the physical version like I have, you get the digital version thrown in for free. So I've already had a little bit of a look through this, and I'm not going to go through it page by page because that's not fair to Modiphius. We will pick a page kind of at random to look at once we look at the table of contents though, just to show you kind of like what it's about. And I presume they have these planned, I mean, who knows how often, I have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised if it's quarterly, or just with every major release, I guess. But what it is faction specific suggestions for either single take story-ish missions or linked sets of, I think most of them are four, yeah, like 4 linked missions around a theme of one particular faction inside the game. So let's pick a page at random and then we'll just talk a little bit about it. And it does also have the regional stuff for if you want to be in certain particular types of themed areas. Let's pick this page. That's not a good enough page. This page. Breakthrough. So who is this for? This is for the super mutant player must get past the barricades and capture models from the enemy force. So this is you playing as a super mutant against an enemy force of your choosing. It suggests size, presumably, or like a cap suggestion. Let's see. Yep, 350 caps each. Alternatively, use the scenario suggested forces so it can be even more specific if you want. Is there another page to the same scenario? Yes. Okay, so I was wondering like where's the suggested army list? It's on the back here. So it's also doing like, do you want to curate the Wasteland decks, the item deck, event deck, stranger creature, etc. My dog is growling at someone going past the window. So it's suggesting that the enemy force be 4 Minutemen with laser muskets, and that you use a selection of 3 super mutants, Aviator, Brute, Standard Super Mutant, Mutant Hound, etc. But again, you can use your own, and it suggests a cap value, or you can take the idea of the scenario, adapt it to whatever you want. You don't have to be super mutants for this to be a theme. Oh, the next one's like you're freeing a behemoth. We're not looking at that one. So it suggests how to set up the battlefield. Honestly, that's a little bit complex. I'd probably just scatter a few of them unless they're super integral to how it works, which it might do if they represent people that the super mutants are abducting or something. But the reason I picked this up is for inspiration for Season 2 of my settlement mode playthrough. Just getting different ideas, taking an idea, adapting it to fit the overarching story. That seems perfect for this, and it wasn't super expensive. I mean, we can just pick a later page, again at random. Back end of a Brotherhood of Steel mission. They provide you everything you need if you want to follow it to the letter, and can do if you have the miniatures available obviously. Then you've got a decent enough little one-shot story, or a 4-part story if you want. And then at the back it was the terrain rules. Oh yeah, background tables as well for factions. Players want to add some extra story to their games. So you roll a green oh, there's a spelling error. Yo, everybody makes one, including me. But they roll on the green accuracy table. Tut tut. At least the digital version can be updated, I suppose. But yeah, there's the region. So for instance, if you wanted to play in a ruined city, you use this curated list of weapons, armor, grenades, use these events, use these dangers, use these strangers, and you've got yourself a nice theme to work with rather than pure RNG from what is a massively growing list of maximum number of events and whatnot. So yeah, that's just another thing they started to do. Do you need these? Well, if you want to use anything that's releasing in this part of the wave, yes. Although there is another option, actually. If you'll let me 1 second to unlock my phone. There is a Fallout Wasteland Warfare app. Now, it does have a monetization model, which I do not enjoy and would not recommend. You can pay monthly and be able to build lists using anything available for the game, literally anything. Or you can buy individual factions for a one-off price that is way too high, again, in my opinion. But if you're a cheapskate, like me, and want to just use the app for free, what you can use it for is you go to the library here, you can see any unit in the game, you can see any AI card, like go to unit, go to super mutants, you can see anything you want. You can't make a list, but if you want to like double check a stat or a rule, or if you're curious how the AI for something works, you go to the AI instead. See the AI for the behemoth. There's his AI card right there. There's his weapons. You can press on them to be reminded what they do. You can't do everything with it for free, but you can do enough that, again, if you want to be super cheap, it does give you everything if you want that as an option. So this was a weird unboxing because there wasn't any boxes. Well, I mean, blister packs sort of count, but I'm not even opening them. I just kind of wanted to show off how Fallout Wasteland Warfare works when they release new stuff, of which they're still obviously doing. Like this, the Commonwealth rules and whatnot, all the models that are listed in here are not out yet. They'll be out over the next few months. So there's still more to look forward to. Like, I don't think Swan is available yet, for instance. So I just wanted to show people how that worked. I hope this was helpful, or at least entertaining. There will be more Fallout Wasteland Warfare coming to the channel. Season 2 is coming, but it will be a while. I've got to paint up a bunch of miniatures, got to plot some ideas, and I'm hoping that both these will help me think up some decent stuff. So thank you for watching this. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Ta-ta for now.